Something about you is different. Some kind of energy's messing with all the chemicals in my brain. Feel the temperature rising. That look in your eyes paralyzing. Forever you're never leaving my face. Heart is racing here now. Never wanna wait out. I want you right up to the end. Oh, you know what I'm feeling, even if it doesn't make sense. You don't have to guess. No, you're a mind reader. Mind reader. Something about you is different. Some kind of energy's messing with all the chemicals in my brain. Feel the temperature rising. That look in your eyes paralyzing. Forever you'll never leave in my veins. Heart is racing here now. Never wanna wait out. I want you right up to the end. Oh, you know what I'm feeling, even if it doesn't make sense. You don't have to guess. No, you're a mind reader. Mind reader.
What's up, everybody? Back with another video. What's good, Fake Mike, Real News? What's good, Dark Kushite? So shout out to all you guys. What's good, Cuts? StreamYards are so different nowadays, but I'm back on my StreamYards. Last live stream I was on the wrong StreamYards, but it is what it is. So shout out to you guys. Just wanted to go do a live stream, had some time to burn as the world burns, as the forest burns, whatever burns. So just wanted to go live and say what's up to y'all and do what I do, I guess. But yeah, I kind of got meant to do a little earlier, so I kind of got a little tired. So don't mind my tiredness. But again, hope everybody's doing pretty good. This wonderful world, as always. But yeah, as the title of the video says. And shout out to Fake Mike. Check out his channel. He's making videos again. Good to see. Good to see. So, yeah. And what I wanted to talk about. What did I want to talk about? Hold on one second, guys. So much stuff going on, as always. But, the Canada wildfires, of course. Canada wildfires cause poor air quality in the Midwest and Northeast U.S. I'm talking massive fire, like simply just unbelievable. It says hazy skies hung over parts of the Midwest and Northeast U.S. on Sunday, caused by smoke drifting across the border from hundreds of wildfires in Canada. There's hundreds of wildfires in Canada, guys. They say there's 4,000 already recorded this year. How? It says Canada experiencing its second worst wildfire season on record. Okay. When was you've never heard of fires in Canada pretty much until the past couple of years. And then all this smoke comes here and we got to suffer. The government isn't saying a peep. Okay? If you light a bonfire in your backyard and it smokes the whole neighborhood, you're going to have fire department coming. The fines will be coming. The town code officials will be coming to your house. Here we got a whole entire country filled with smoke. The United States government doesn't say a word. It's affecting our air quality and technically our quality of life, and they don't say anything. You don't hear the government saying nothing. You don't even hear the U.S. citizens saying anything. You got to ask yourself, okay, it's affecting us, so shouldn't we help out? Or shouldn't they get it under control? Shouldn't we demand something? Because it's affecting us, right? Yeah. Unfortunately, that's not how the world works. So, just something that I thought about. It just blows my mind. And, who even knows if it's, that wildfire smoke? I don't really get it. Never have we had stuff like this before. Pretty crazy. Pretty crazy. And nobody says a word. But that's the state we live in, man. The docile United States. It's pretty, I don't know, man. It's crazy. Everything that we see and going on is just crazy. It's just totally crazy. But, it is what it is. Summer's going to be over soon, and it's a lot. Russian volcano spews ash miles into the sky. What's the other news? Look at this. Israeli minister prays at Flashpoint holy site as officials say 33 aid seekers killed in Gaza. 33 aid seekers. Sure wasn't truth seekers. This is the story. It was good, Flint. Nah, it ain't over. So, it ain't over. But yeah, man, there's so much going on, man. But it's crazy, man. It's crazy. It's crazy. But yeah, it's just been, since I've been gone, same old, same old, same old going on. Nothing new. Nothing new. You know, my local area, there's so much going on. There was like cop shot and killed somebody. Uh, a whole old building burned to the ground. 8 alarm fire that was under renovation. It's crazy stuff going on, man. Airplane, small little airplane crashed. There's so much stuff going on, man. You got the ICE crap still going on, ICE raids, which ain't nothing but they're just extracting. They're just using all their technology and resources to. It's almost like, they let all these people in here just to test out extractions. You start looking at it, you say, okay, they didn't do a terror attack yet and use all these immigrants. They didn't really do much. The other flip side is, obviously what I understand is, they got to get all these people on paper because it's all money. But the other thing is they're testing their resources on removing humans out of society. And they're also psychologically programming the U.S. citizens to accept it. All right? They already see it. They already see ICE running up in grocery stores, daycares, schools, job sites, farms, everywhere, courthouses. They didn't hit it all. Nobody is even looking or questioning, why are they doing this? All right? And they're just doing any old thing. That's how you know it's a drill. Then all the agents are all covered up, masked up, military, look like straight. They look like terrorists. ICE is actually ISIS, right? All they're doing is getting everyone ready for them to do that to anyone. It's not going to be the illegal immigrant. It's going to be the U.S. citizen. All right? That they're going to say, oh, he's a threat or whatever. That's all this is. It's nothing more than that. All right? That's right. I feel you, Flint. I feel you on that. I ain't messing with Winters no more. But that's all the whole ICE thing is all about. It's pretty much obvious now that that's what's going on. But yeah. Other than that, everybody sees what's happening. Everybody sees the fake news stories on top of fake news, the Epstein crap and all that other stuff. Just nonstop stuff we've been calling out for many years, full swing. So I just been taking a back seat. Plus I've been, in the house for about about a month. But that's a whole nother story. And it just makes you look at everything and how just messed up it really is, how bad it is, and how far just people just don't care, man. They don't have no spirit. They lack spirit. And lack spirit and faith. And that's not even within a religion. That's just in general. They have no faith or spirit in anything. But just moving blindly through the system. Accepting it, not rejecting it, not questioning it, and participating in it. There's a difference in maneuvering and participating willfully and saying, you know what, this is just the way it is. I'm comfortable like this, and you know what? Any other way is too much for me. So it's just bad, man. the healthcare system. It's another, that's another crazy thing. They said, oh, Trump goes on. You guys saw the headlines. Trump, this is what they said. And all the flock members were all like, yay, I told you. Look at, he's doing. Oh, man. I'll give you 2 seconds of busting this down real quick. All right. 17. Right. Drug makers are pouring billions of dollars into new U.S. manufacturing. It still won't achieve all of Trump's tariff goals. All right. So what he did was basically did a tariff on drugs, basically saying Trump demands drug makers lower some of their U.S. prices by September, right? That's what it's all about. I want to get the exact headline, right? Okay. A fresh ultimatum demanding binding commitments to lower U.S. drugs prices sent pharma firms scrambling Friday. Well, no, they didn't. All right. The White House said Thursday that the president had sent letters to 17 major pharmaceutical firms outlining the steps that they must take to lower the prices of U.S. prescription drugs to most favored nation, MFN, levels by September 29th. All right. And everyone over there, all the sheep were clapping. And got that right, Flint. The sheep were all clapping and, doing all, clapping, and Trump's the great hero, the great savior. He's making America great again. I love that Trump. Not realizing that he done already gave them billions during 2020, 21, 22, 23, 24, and all the way up until they got to give some kickbacks now. All right? They've already made more money than they'll ever dream of, okay? Because all you got to do is go look at those 17 drug manufacturing companies, and then go look at what Trump did for them in 2020 and 2021. And then you'll see that this is just part of the deal. And this is the play on U.S. citizens that they do. This is what they do. This is what they do, how they do it. This is propaganda 101. You think they care about lowering drug prices? No. They've already made a gazillions on gazillions on gazillions. All right? That sums it up right there. This is just part of the deal. And it's nothing. Then you got the sheep that'll clap their hooves, shake their little woolly tails, and be happy. Crazy, man, that they still come out here and do this crap. It just amazes me how docile the people are. It's crazy. And then I always see people, oh man, people are waking up. Where? Nobody's waking up. You're not waking up. People ain't waking up. Sorry. Little TikTok and reels and 30-second clips is not an awakening. Sorry. It's not how it is. It don't, knowing a couple conspiracy theories is not make you awakened and aware. What makes you awakened and aware is you wake up and you change your whole life. Your whole life changes around. Your principles change, your morals change, your understanding changes, your situationships change. There's people that that are awakened, and then they'll have somebody with them that is asleep. Well, you ain't awake. Because if you was awake, you would realize, you know what? I can't even be around this. This person is holding me down, holding me back. It's just literally like that. When you in that energy, it is what it is. The universal energy is going to pull everything where it needs to be. You know. So no, man, come on, please don't spam up the chat, man. I mean, look at this. Please don't spam up the chat, Space Troll. The first thing is not even, hey, what's good? It's, I don't have a cell that works. Nobody's talking about a cell. And then you said an animal abuser on the first floor. I called that out. And they set me up. Like I said, I don't know what you smoke. But it's definitely some good shit. And you should stop smoking it. You know, because I don't know. I mean, seriously. I mean, I get it. Don't abuse dogs or whatever's going on over there. Whatever's going on in your mind. Yeah, you're right. Don't abuse dogs. Don't abuse dogs, okay? You know, there's always some off the walls, but hey, what's good, Space Monkey? Space Monkey Troll. No, I never said drugs. I said whatever, I don't even know. But it's all good. But yeah, so yeah, pretty wild stuff, man. But I've had some time to reflect. I was already on my hiatus, but during my hiatus, I actually got into a car wreck. You know, I was hit by a drunk driver, and I was out for. I had what? I almost spent one whole month in the house, you know, recovering from a fractured hip. So, you know, I had a lot of time to, you know, spend time with the family, man. I actually really honestly enjoyed it. Weird as it could be to say, I actually enjoyed the shit, you know. I really did enjoy it, man. You know, you really see your family and, you know, how strong it is, and, you know, they step in and help out. Then you realize, you know, a lot of things, man. You know. Thanks, Dark Kushite. So, yeah. But I'm good. It was, you know, it was a badass accident, but, you know, drunk driver. Boom, head on. Luckily, I wasn't going like. Luckily they weren't like driving, and I was driving at the same time. They were at a red light in the turning lane. You know, and they hit us. Boom. But I was the only one that got hurt. So head on. Crazy. Drunk driver. So, you know, just recovering from that, man. And that was a whole experience in itself, man. I don't do doctors, hospitals. I don't do none of that, man. Oh, yeah. You already know. Oh, shit, I was in the hospital talking to it. It was actually exactly 30 days ago, you know? So that was actually 30 days ago exactly, on the 2nd of July. 2nd and 3rd, I got out, and, you know, I've been wheelchair. Crazy, man. I got a whole nother insight on a whole bunch of stuff, man. You know, everything happens for a reason, you know? So, everything happens for a reason. So, couldn't walk, you know, wheelchair life, you know. Actually, you know, I see the lens through a handicapped person, you know. I see the lens through a handicapped person, and it's like, man, you know, it's tough, you know, what they got to go through, you know, it's tough, you know, being in a wheelchair, you know, but, you know, it's easy. It was easy for me because I got a family and, you know, that helped me and stuff like that, but I can imagine somebody who don't, man, it's got to be tough, you know. A lot of things I was able to see a whole nother perspective of. And, you know, how fragile everything is. I had plans and stuff for 4th of July, you know, the annual celebration we always do, and boom, one day, gone. You know, one day and I can't walk, you know. Luckily, it wasn't extremely, like, bad, you know. And I see things totally different. You know, I see things way different now, you know, like, damn, man. And I see other people that went through worse, like, holy shit, you know, lucky. So, and then being, like I said, in a wheelchair, having to use a walker, crutches, learning to basically walk again with a fractured hip. And then the whole experience at the hospital, man, if I was dumb and ignorant and shit, man, it would have been worse. Like, I couldn't believe it, man. These hospitals, man, it's bad, guys. We got it bad, man. I hope nobody think that whatever's going on in these hospitals today is some normal shit. It ain't normal, man. What I observed and saw, and just me being knowledgeable and aware, crazy. And I went to supposedly the best hospital in Rochester, New York. Well, in the whole area, which is the University of Rochester, and that shit was a fucking hellhole. That shit was like third world country shit. My wife didn't even understand the shit. You know, she from Taiwan. They got the number one healthcare system in the world, but she didn't understand it. I mean, and there was no room. It was crazy, man. It was crazy. And I tell you guys, they take advantage of ignorant ass people. You're literally, that shit is literally it's like a bunch of car dealers fighting over a couple cars. That's what it's like. It's crazy, man. Like, they tried to force surgery on me. Like, it was unbelievable. I'll tell the whole, you know, I don't know if I got the time to tell the whole story right now, but man, they try to force the surgery on me so hard, man. It was crazy. Like, they wanted to, we have to do surgery, but I ain't no damn dummy. You know, I understand my body. You know, after the accident, I was walking, you know, but that's the adrenaline. You know, I was walking, this shit hurt, but I was walking, you know? And then that shit got more and more pain, and then it was like, I gotta sit down. And then I got back up, walked to the car, got in, and said, look, I ain't waiting. I already know. The fire department was like, look, we got an ambulance coming. I said, look, I know how long it takes an ambulance to come. My sons, they're gonna take me, they're here, you know? Because we were all like, we were doing a car show, and man, it was like, we were like 30 of us. And, you know, it was just coming through the intersection. And there was a car turning, and I seen it the whole time. It was crazy. I seen the entire, you know, the thing. Like, I seen the car getting ready to turn in front of us. And I'm like, I know they ain't about to fucking turn. And we're going through, and sure enough, they just rocketed the shit. I didn't understand it. And they just rocketed straight into it. And I watched it, everything. Boom. You know, like, what the... Man, that was crazy. Crazy. And then, you know, a lot of people were surprised at how calm I was. It was the first thing I know. Don't panic. That panic is the worst thing you can do, is panic. I'm like, no. When I was out of the car while it was still basically moving, I've been in, you know, a bus that crashed before, and literally, I don't know how, but my body is out of there before the cars, or before the vehicles stop. You know, literally, it's still moving. I'm already out the car. I just feel like it's a death trap, you know. And then adrenaline just kicks in, and, you know, adrenaline is an amazing thing that your body produces, man. You know, and it actually, I actually believe if you keep calm, that it does something to your body where it protects you even more, you know, whatever sense that shit makes. But yeah. But anyways, I went to the hospital. Man, they were like, it was bad. I'm kind of sleepy, so I don't want to like go through the whole story. I'll do that another time. But it was bad, man. Like it literally was bad. When I tell you bad, I tell you bad. Let me see. I got 50 minutes. I could talk about it. So, I get there. Obviously I had to wait. I get back there. Oh, what happened? Da 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 da. Told them. They're like, all right, we're gonna get you some X-rays. Boom, they go. They X-ray me. Come back. Just me and my wife. Come back. We're in a hallway. Now everything's full. So there's a hallway, but they have like makeshift, like like they set the hallways up as like little temporary rooms, and they have a curtain that goes around them. All right, so they did the X-ray. They come back and they say, and I'm just this is to let y'all know what they do to us in them hospitals, and let you know that look, I don't give a fuck when nobody tells me. I already knew this before I even had this situation. They're not there to help you. They're not there to cure you. They're there to make money. Though, like police, they want to do the job. They want to help people. No, they have protocols they got to go by. They got shit they got to do. They have entire educations based off their bullshit to profit. Okay, so it is what it is. You could believe whatever you want to believe. Okay, I know what I know, and I knew that before I went in there. It just is what it is. I'm like, I don't know if I'm in pain, so I just wanted to make sure that there's nothing internal that's messed up, because I could be bleeding inside, all kind of shit could be going on. So I wanted to get checked up. My wrist was fucked up, swollen. My elbow had a contusion on it. My forehead had a prick. My whole forehead had to. I noticed it later. I didn't have no head injury or head trauma, but I did have like a little scratch and like a little tiny bump. But I noticed it. I'm like, shit, that's the rear view mirror. Because I remember the rear view mirror was broken off the car. So I'm like, that's the rear view mirror print on my forehead. So yeah, so that's the extent of injuries I had. And my hip injury was because I braced. I pushed both my feet to the floor and like must have had my right leg just like like I'm trying to brake, and that impact, boom, like hyperextended my straight leg right into my body and cracked my hip. So that's the thing. So I got the X-ray, hour, 2 hours later, however long it was. Doctor comes back. She's like, oh, are you? Well, they asked me if I was in pain. I'm like, look, I don't take any medication. Thank you. You're in pain? Yeah, I'm in pain. I was like, only thing I do take is aspirin. She's like, oh, we can get you aspirin. They brought me 250 milligram of aspirin, just one. I said I could take one. Boom. It made me feel a lot better. Like, sure, that's all you want. I'm like, yeah, that's it. I don't take any medication. I don't do any of that. I don't do any of that. And they're just like, wow. I'm like, yeah. And they was like, so came back X-ray, and they're like, well, we can't really see if there's a fracture. There might be a fracture. I sent it to the ortho, so they'll be getting back to me to let me know, if it's a fracture or not. It could be just a, hyperextension, contusion up in there, a lot of force, a lot of impact, and they all asked me anything else, they went over everything, checked everything. I'm like, no, my wrist is sore, but it ain't, it is what it is. I would do this. It's something that I would hurt you know, not in a car accident. You know, that's how it feels like. Okay, I mean, what are you gonna do with a sore wrist? It ain't broken. I'm good. You know, and then they asked me to move my toes and all that shit. You know, because fractured hip, you can do a lot of damage inside of there. So I had all movement, everything, no numbness, nothing like that. But anyway. So then she comes back. They come back later. Well, you know, we're gonna get you. They're asking you to get an MRI. You know, like okay. You know, because they're talking like likely you're gonna need surgery. You know, due to if there is a fracture. So the doctor did look at it. He said it does look like it is a fracture, but they want to go in more depth. Da da da. You know, I'm like, okay. You know, MRI, whatever. So they're like, okay, we'll set it up. Boom. They come back a half hour later. They go, this has been long in between. So then they come back like, okay, yeah, you know, they come back with some, you know, okay, we're going to give you this IV. I'm like, well, IV? What do I need an IV for? Well, it's this liquid, you know, that, you know, it makes so you can see the MRI, you know, that I'm like, what? I'm like, like an IV? I'm like, what are you talking about? And they told me it's like this stuff that lights up inside of your body in the MRI. And I'm like, nah, I don't think I'm going to be doing that. They're like, well, you know, I'm like, what's it called? And then she told me what's it called. I'm like, okay, I'm going to think about that. She's like, well, if you don't, then we're not going to be able to see what we're trying to see, you know, but you think about it, we'll be back. So, you know me, got me researching that motherfucker right then and there, checking it out. And I'm like, nah, I'm good. I'm not putting that shit in my body. You crazy? And you know, I was like some kind of shit that lights up. No, I'm good on that. That's all I had to see. You know. So she came back with the shit. The nurse or whatever came back. Yeah, you know, I got the IV. You know, I was like, no, I'm good on that. I'm not gonna do it. So, oh, no, it doesn't hurt at all. Like, yeah, but what does it feel like? What are like side effects and stuff like that? Well, I already knew them because I looked it up. Well, you know, people get nauseous. You know, they can feel dizzy. I'm like, yeah, no, I'm good. I'm not doing none of that. Like, well, we're not gonna be able to see it. The doctor was like, well, may not be able to see it. We may not know what we're looking for. We're not see what we're looking for. You know, and then, you know, worst comes to worst, we'll just have to send you home. You have to heal like that. I was like, look, I ain't doing it. It's like, well, we could still do the MRI anyway. We'll see if we can see it. But, you know, more than likely we probably won't, but we'll go it that way. So an hour goes by, then the other, you know, trusty nurses come around that wheel you over to the MRI room. So they wheel me over to this MRI room. And I'm already scared of that shit. I'm scared of all the radiation shit. I don't want none of this stuff. But I get it. I'm messed up. You know, hey, look, they got to look inside. You know, I'm like, okay. So, you know, they get me on the table, man. That shit was so hard because I was in so much pain and laying down flat. Oh, my God, it hurt so bad. And then it was like this donut-shaped big-ass thing. And then I'm like, do I need to take my chain off? Like, no, you're good. I'm like, I thought y'all take your metal off and all that other stuff. I got a copper bracelet on. They're like, no, you're good. I'm like, damn, technology changed. So, you know, I'm like, how far do I go in this thing? It don't go over my head, does it? No, it just goes up to like your top of your chest. I'm like, all right, shit make me so nervous. I'm claustrophobic. I'm all that. I'm all the fears of the hospital. That's me. So they put me in the shit. They roll me in. That shit's just crazy. You don't feel anything, but I don't like it. So they did that. Boom. Go back, lay, you know, back in the thing. My wife, then we're just trying to sleep through the night. It's all kind of shit going on. I've seen every police agency in Rochester at the hospital. They got criminals. They got people off the street. They got corrections in there. I'm like, my wife is like, she like, whoa, that's a culture shock to her. Like, what? Why there's so many police here? I'm like, well, these are a lot of people that, you know, they get hurt, crimes, and jail, all sorts. I mean, literally, I saw every precinct, town, village. I'm like, damn, this is crazy. So anyways, you know, we're trying to like sleep. We got a privacy little curtain, but we can hear everything. I got a guy in the back of me. Something happened to him. He's all banged up. Had an old guy in front of me. He's got like asthma and all kind of shit going on, and they just pumping him medicine. Guy behind me that I don't know, this thing seemed like he broke something too or hurt something or something. Multiple shit. They come in, they're like, "We're about to give you some such as I don't know how to pronounce it." He's like, "Okay." Don't even question the shit. Like, don't even question. Okay. You know, and I already know this hospital is all about experiments and all kind of stuff. So, anyways, you know, doctor comes back. Oh, we saw because this whole time I was worried about surgery. I already ruled it out. I ain't getting no surgery. You're not putting me to sleep for fucking 5 hours, cutting my body open, going in there and doing whatever the hell y'all doing. That ain't even a possibility. And that was already ruled out. I was like, look, you know, and I did some research on it. I said, is this a displaced or a non-displaced fracture? Like, this is what she came back. The doctor came back. It's like, oh, well, look. Well, we got good news. They found what they were able to see what they wanted to see. There is a fracture. Now, this is the same nurse earlier said from the X-rays she couldn't see a fracture. Now they did the MRI and they tried to force that medicine shit in me and said, oh, I probably ain't gonna see it, and come back tell me, oh, we saw everything we wanted to see. You do have a fracture. And, you know, surgery is going to be likely. So that IV, you know, we'll be bringing it back around. I'm like, look, I'm not doing no, I'm not, last thing I'm trying to do is a surgery. What are the other alternatives? And she's like, well, the other alternatives, you know, the surgery, you know, you know, it's some 90% of what we always do for a hip fracture. You know, the other one is healing on your own, but then it won't heal up right. You have problems, arthritis, all kinds of shit to steer you away from not getting the surgery. But I already know the body is a motherfucker. The body will heal itself. All right? Let me know if y'all can still hear me. Sorry. Let me know if y'all can hear me while I'm just rambling along, telling you my story. So hopefully somebody is in a situation dealing with these hospitals. They ain't for you, okay? All right, you can still hear me. Thank you. So, you know, she said, you know, oh yeah, we're gonna, you know, I'm like, what are the other options? And that's what she told me. And then I'm like, yeah, I gotta. And I'm, you know, I'm contemplating because I'm thinking, you know, I've already been in this accident. It's like, okay, I'm thinking what I'm thinking, and they're thinking what they thinking, and I'm thinking, you know, now I'm doing a research on the surgery, like what it consists of. Is it like a little incision, or is it like a, you know, whatever? I'm looking at that, man. That is considered a major surgery. Okay, that requires like at least 5 days in the hospital after the surgery. And I'm thinking to myself, after I saw it, I'm like, oh fuck no, this is a no. And this is like a 5-hour operation. Like, no, like that ain't happening. Like it's already in my mind. So she said, well, it looks like, you know, the surgery, the ortho, I'm gonna let them know, you know, and you know, they'll be in a little bit. You know, it's like in the early morning hours. They'll be in a little bit. We'll talk about it. Come down, ortho will talk about it to you. Okay. So, you know, I'm back doing my research, trying to sleep, doing research, trying to sleep. And I'm telling my wife, like, look, I ain't doing no surgery. And she like, you know, she like, yeah, why they want to, you know, why they want to cut for what? What? You ask them, she was like, we're going to ask them for the x-ray. Boom. So the nurse comes back to just check on me. And I'm like, look, is there, you know, that's when I asked, I was like, is the fracture displaced? This is when I was researching it. Is the fracture displaced or is it non-displaced? She looked at me like, how the fuck, how do you know? How do you know those words? How do you know those terms? You know, and so I asked her and she's like, well, it's like a crack. you know, but it's definitely displaced. I'm like, oh, and that displaced means you should get according to their rules and their protocols, get a surgery. So, you know, I was like, oh, then I start worrying again. The worry's on. She said that. I'm like, shit, I ain't seen. So I asked her, like, can we see the x-ray? She said, oh yeah, we'll bring them down for you. Hours go by, nobody comes. All right. Then, you know, some other nurse comes, checks my vitals and all this other shit. And I asked her, like, um, I forgot what I asked her. But anyways, time goes. Now it's the morning. The morning shift starts coming in, and another doctor comes. Boom, asking me the same questions as the other doctor. And then they're like, yeah, we'll get y'all ready. The ortho will be in and he'll talk to you about surgery. I'm going to have the nurse come with the, IV and, all that stuff. I'm like, what? I'm like, no. I'm like, no, I'm not. Oh, it'll be all right. I'm like, no, I'm not. There's no IV. I'm not doing no surgery. I said, I've already ruled it out. I'm not doing the surgery. I want to do the conservative, the conservative way. Oh, all right. Well, we'll talk to the doctors. Oh, okay. After that, another doctor comes over. He's talking about the same shit, same old, same old. I'm like, yeah. Check me all out. Check my vitals. Check my movements. Asked me what happened. Pushed on my stomach. Asked where the pain was. Said, you walked on that? I said, yeah, I walked. No problem. I walked in, He's like, wow, okay. And I asked him, is it a displaced fracture or a non-displaced? He said, oh, it's definitely displaced, man. That thing, what it is you have a ball in your femur and your hip socket. What that did is that pushed up and it smashed your hip and just shattered it. And I was like, damn, that shit, like, fuck. Now I'm thinking to myself, like, damn. Yeah, I'm scared more. Like, damn, man, I'm really gonna have to have surgery. I'm like, nah, I'm not having no surgery, man. I'm like, I'm not having no surgery. I'm thinking, like, how the hell a first nurse don't see shit? Then I get an MRI. They see a crack. This guy says it's shattered. Well, that will mean the first one. I'm like, that's not right, man. I'm like, no. And all this, no. So then more time goes by. And then somebody comes in, oh, we're here to get you we're taking a radiology to get you a scan, a CT scan. I'm like, what? I said, no. I said, wait. I said, no. I said, I already got an x-ray. I already got an MRI. It's like, oh, no, this is a CAT scan. Now, keep in mind, they know I've been in a car wreck. All right? So they know insurance is involved. All right? They already know insurance is involved. So they already know money's coming. All right? Because they already asked me all about the crash, da-da-da. And I said, yeah, it's by a drunk driver. They're like, oh. So they already know that. Cha-ching, that's what they're looking at. So I'm like, wait, no. So then another doctor comes in, oh. I'm like, look, I'm not getting a surgery. That's out the window. I'm going to try to, I want the, conservative healing. All right? He's like, oh, okay, we'll, the head ortho is going to come in and we'll have him come talk to you. And I'm like, look, I'm not doing the surgery. Okay, I want to go with the conservative, way of healing. I'm into natural, life. I mean, I don't, I just want to. I'm not getting a surgery. Like, okay, all right. We'll have the head ortho come talk to you. There is other alternative. So I'm like, okay. So time goes by, hours now. And then I'm like, okay, boom. Another person comes, oh, we're here to take you to get a CT scan. I'm like, wait. I was like, what? I said, wait, I'm not getting any scans. I'm supposed to be talking to the head ortho about not getting a surgery. And I've been here like a full night. I'm ready to be discharged, basically. We already seen it's okay. I got a fracture. You all right? So they went and got. So then now the head ortho doctor comes down. No, first another doctor comes down. Some Indian guy. He comes down. He's checking me out. At this point, I start recording shit. I'm talking to my aunt. She's like, "No, this is crazy." I'm like, "Yeah, I don't know what the fuck is going on." I done talked to like 5 different doctors and told them all the same shit, and they all come back not knowing nothing. What the other doctor said and what I said to them. I mean, this shit is crazy. So then this guy came down. He checks me all out, asks me all these fucking questions. He's like real confident. He's like, "Well," he's trying to force the surgery on me again. He's like, "Well, we really, you have a very serious fracture." I'm like, this was a different one. I said, "Is it displaced?" He's like, it's like cracked in 2 different places. And what it is if it doesn't heal right, now it's cracked in 2 different places. One guy said it's shattered. One side said it's barely, can't see shit. I needed an MRI. Then they said it's cracked. Now one said it's shattered. Now he's saying it's 2 places. I said, this shit ain't adding up, man. And he's like, "So, don't worry, we're gonna take good care of you. My boss is coming down here to talk to you." I'm like, "Look, you were supposed to be coming to tell me, like, basically, all right, I'm not doing it, and I'm going home." So anyways, another hour goes by. Somebody comes in. It's the head guy. He's like, "Hey, how you doing? What happened?" Da, 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 da. He's like, "Well, they already got wind of I'm a natural kind of guy. They look, I ain't take no damn medication. I've been there. They're like, God damn, this guy's only took an aspirin. We done gave people all kinds of drugs." And then they're like, "Look, I've heard that, you're not up for the surgery. I checked out the x-rays. Looks like it's in a good spot. It's still in place, but we kind of call it displaced, but it's in the spot where it can heal normally." And I'm like, "So yeah, no weight on it for at least a month. You'll follow up obviously within a week once you leave here today. It's like, walker, crutches, wheelchair, no weight, keep movement in your leg, and I think you're young enough, healthy guy, it'll heal up fine, just follow up, with the ortho." And yeah, shook my hand, and that was that. And I'm like, okay, I went from no crack, like can't see the crack, to cracked, to totally shattered, to 2 places broken, down to it's in place and it should heal good. Because why? They got the picture that I was not about to get this damn surgery. That wasn't even a possibility. They would have made a fortune, but you, come on, man. If that would have been anybody else, they would have just went along with it. Took some sleepy medicine and boom, woke up without a pancreas, a kidney, a ball, something. They would. Who knows what they was gonna do? Fuck that. You're not about to do that to me. I don't. What you gotta go in there and do? You said the shit is in place, even if it was cracked. What y'all gonna go put some metal in there or some shit and make me have problems for the rest of my damn life? Hell no. Have scars and cut and have to worry about sepsis and infection. Yeah, I'll take my chances of the healing. Y'all tripping. No way. So this ain't even the fucking end of it. So I shook the head ortho's hand, boom. Now 2 hours go by. I'm like, damn, they're busy. Okay, I'm gonna be discharged soon. Ain't nobody come. So I pushed the fucking call button. Then a nurse comes over. Hey, what do you need? I played it off because I'm nice. Can I get water? Speaking of water, I need some water. Can I get some water? She's like, sure, I'll be back. And also, I'm waiting for somebody to come, talk to me about leaving because I talked to the head ortho and, I'm ready to go. Me and my wife were fed up and ready to go. We were tired as shit. We're ready to get out of there. And then she's like, oh, okay. Come on, man. Be slow. I'm like, they're like, oh, okay. I'll go get the nurse. Boom, hour goes by. That lady never came back with the water. She walked past 2 times. And I'm like, yo, what the fuck is going on? Meanwhile, we were just so frustrated. Then I hear somebody come, boom, she come, hey, said my name, Mr. Matrix. Yep, you're here for a scan. I'm like, what? I'm like, oh, what? A scan? I'm like, oh, no, no. I've already took an MRI, an X-ray. I've already shook the hand to the head ortho. What do I need an X-ray for? I don't know. I'm sorry. They just said X-ray. And then she leaves. Half hour later, the lady comes back. Oh, well, they just, they wanted to get an X-ray of you, one more time from the side. And, they got also on here for your wrist, for your elbow, and, for a CAT scan. I'm like, what? For what? I'm like, no, I already told him about my wrist and my elbow. I'm like, no. I'm ready to go home, man. No, I don't need no CAT scan. Okay, boom. They go leave. They come back. Somebody else another fucking doctor. This is the daytime now. Another doctor comes back. Yeah, how you feeling? Oh, well, the reason why they want to do another CAT scan is because they only did from the chest down. They want to do from the neck up. I'm like, no, man. There's nothing wrong. They thinking I'm fucking crazy now. They're like, look, the guy don't take no medication. The guy don't want a surgery. He must be fucking crazy. Let's check his brain, check his head. They wanted to do a fucking CAT scan of my neck up and my head. I'm like, no. I'm like, listen, man, I ain't doing none of that shit. I'm done. I'm ready to go home. That's it. I'm done. Like, what are you talking about? I've already shook the head ortho's hand. He said, look, what to do when I go home. How ain't y'all on the same page? I'm like, how? Well, sometimes, we talked to, they were like, now they're like, so shit, Man, I tell you what, this ain't. Then another doctor comes to says, how am I feeling, this and that. And I was talking to my aunt on the phone. I put the phone on the bed, y'all. I put the phone on the bed. And I kid you not. The doctor was leaning over, he was talking to my wife. I see his hands, flicks my phone over to see the screen and look to see if I was recording. I was like, yeah. So I just like seen him flip my phone over, and I like grabbed my phone and like flipped it back over and put my hand on it. And I'm thinking like, I know he just did not flip that phone. So after he's done, then he's like, all right, he leaves. And then I told my wife, like, he just did. She's like, yeah, I saw him. Why he bothered? She said, why he bother your phone? I was like, he flipped my phone over. I'm like, oh, hell no. And then, guys, you're never going to guess what else. Another person came to the fucking door and said, we're here for an X-ray. I'm like, whoa. I'm like, is this some sick joke? I said, I'm ready to go home, man. I done told him I ain't doing none of this shit no more. I'm done. My wife said, what is going on? What's wrong with you people? She's like, oh, I'm sorry. It just says an X-ray. They just want to X-ray your hip and that's it. I'm like, nah, I'm done with this shit. No, man, I done been X-rayed and MRI'd. I don't want all this shit in me. None of that shit, man. So they went to talk, and then the other guy comes back and said, oh, I'm sorry. He's like, no, what we wanted to do is we wanted to get the other side. We only got one side. We want to get the other side just so we have a better, look now for when you come back in a week. So then I was like, okay, that makes sense. I said, this is just the X-ray, right? He's like, yeah, this is not an MRI, just an X-ray. Okay, X-ray takes 2 seconds, boom, picture, I'm done. So I went and did that shit, and like 25 minutes later, I was on my way to fuck home. I could not believe that shit, man. That was the craziest shit, and it's because they were trying to get as much money as they can off my ass, and they didn't give a damn what they did or how they did it. I mean, guys, the healthcare system is bad in the United States. All right, bad. And the guy behind me, he was just, thank you guys. You guys, we're taking good. They're like giving them sweet voice. Oh yeah, we'll take good care of you. Don't worry about it. You're not gonna feel a thing and none of that. I'm like, man, shit. So crazy, man. Crazy. And I could not believe it, man. How bad this healthcare system is, guys. And it's all about money. That's it. No, they don't. There's no level of care. It's all about money, man. They don't give their. It's just these people's faces were just like, like they just they're like mechanics and shit. It's that bad, guys. And again, if I was ignorant, I would have had a surgery that I didn't need, because when I went to the doctor a week later, I actually saw the fucking X-ray, and it was a little crack. And I asked the nurse there. She said, "No, they probably put They just probably put displaced, and then put minimal, but it's still in place. It was not, So yeah, you're doing good. Not should I get in pain now? Like no, I'm just a little pressure, but probably from all the impact from all my muscles and the nerves and all that inside. So yeah, you'd be sore for a while, but don't do no weight. Boom. The doctors I went to for that the office, and stuff like that. That was a really good experience, and I was able to see the X-ray and everything. Wasn't shattered, and it wasn't broken in 2 fucking places, man. Like, can you believe that shit? Like, I would have got an unnecessary surgery and could have risked, all kind of shit, man. Like, man, hell no. You gotta be careful out here, y'all, man. It's bad, man. It's bad. Guys, it's bad. It's bad. Hold on, guys. Hold on, guys. Let's see. Hold on 1 second, guys. Give me 1 second, guys. So yeah, that was pretty crazy, guys. Pretty crazy. Pretty crazy. Hold on, guys. Pretty crazy. So yeah, I would have been in bad shape, man. It technically, that's what people don't understand, that it actually is free. All right. Our healthcare system actually is free. All right. Because if anybody goes to emergency, they're going to have to get care, no matter what. All right. So you can technically use the emergency as your doctor, okay? Because what do doctors truly do? Nothing. Zero. That's the scam of the insurance. But healthcare is actually free because you don't have to pay it. All right? You don't have to pay the healthcare. It is what it is. You don't have to pay. Every citizen is already paid for. They're not going to tell you that, but it just is what it is. All right? Without going deep into that, I've broken that down years ago. All right? So it is free. you know. But people have this illusion that you got to go to the doctors and all these other checkups and all these well-cared checkups and all this other shit. You can just go to the emergency and say, look, I feel fucked up. Or, look, I want to check my, I feel this way. I need my blood checked, check my cholesterol. They're going to do it. They can't never turn you down or turn you away. You can go in there for a headache. Guess what? They're gonna take care of you. People don't understand or know that. You can go in there and say, "Oh, look, I got an earache." Well, guess what? That's where you go into the emergency. It is what it is. It's free. You can walk in, get care. They have to take care of you, and then they're gonna do the full care, and you're out. Now, if you're dumb, or there's people that are home, that's different. But if you know and understand what's going on, how the system works, you can go right to emergency, get care, walk right, be done. Tell them, look, I need. If you're knowledgeable about health, how it works, their system, you could use it to your advantage. That's basically all I'm saying. There's YouTube videos, people that tell you how to go to the emergency room like a doctor's office. All right, and you don't got to pay no matter what. They can't charge you. They can't deny you. So a lot of people don't know that. I told you, people don't have a clue what system they even live in. They don't know. You got to know the system you live in. You got to understand that we are living in a business. We're not living in a country. Okay, you're living in a business in a country. All right. That is like a franchise, it could get, it's pretty crazy, and it's 97% of the United States population don't understand the system it's actually in. All right. It is what it is. They don't understand it, and you have these fake gurus online, one of them being Yusuf L, fake ass guru. Now all of a sudden he's talking about, go look at his last YouTube video or 2 YouTube videos. He's talking about sovereign citizen now. Oh, who brought that to him a year ago? I did. Now he's talking about it. Before he said don't mention that in his chat or on his channel or you'll be blocked. Don't mention it on his page or you'll be banned. Guess who got banned? Me. Now guess who's talking about it? Him. You got to understand the system you live in. Either he didn't understand the system he lives in, or he's an agent of the state. I think he's the latter. You got to understand the system you live in. People don't have a fucking clue. I deal with it all, day when I just, I don't really deal with it all day. I deal with it at some point in the day, every day, because I like to, stir the pot a little bit. I like to get people to think, so it is what it is. And I don't know, what I know is a drop in the bucket, but all I know is the understandings and the basis of the system that we live in. All right. And a lot of people make it out harder than it needs to be when it's actually pretty goddamn simple. And the true way of understanding is understanding who truly you are and how powerful you are, and to know that wait a minute, how does somebody have power over me? Look into it. They don't. They don't have no power. Period. What's the power you give them? Well, you give them the power, you give them the consent, or you give them the willful ignorance, and they go off assumption and they assume you're that. Just like the proud U.S. citizen Americans. Yeah, I'm a proud American U.S. citizen. Go back to your country. Well, how about you go to your country? You don't even know where the fuck it's at, but you think you're in it. How about that? Then they go look inside with, huh? Oh, you're one of those, huh? You're one of those dolts. You're a dolt. You need your meds. You take your meds. Yeah, you don't even know what the fuck country you're even in, and you're telling somebody to go back to their own fucking country. You ain't even in the country you think you're in. How about that? And they don't want to believe it. They don't want to understand it. They have no clue. All right? They wouldn't know it if it smashed them in the face. You know? They don't want to know it. It's crazy. Most people don't want to know the system. Why? They think, oh, it's too hard. It's too hard. I mean, like I said, you got my brothers out there getting it in with the license shit. Getting it in, getting arrested and dismissed at the moment. You can't do that. You're going to get a lawsuit. You know? People getting paid now. Oh, they're taking money. Now they go, oh, they're taking money from the taxpayer. No, they aren't. You don't even know what taxes are, and you don't even know where your tax money goes. So shut the fuck up with that stupid shit. Because that tells you, they'll tell you right there, your tax money does not go to anything you think it does. Not even any way, shape, or form. Okay? Not even close. You know? Oh, I pay taxes. No, you don't. Stop that. Take 5 minutes to do some research. None of your taxes go to the shit that you say it's going to. It don't work. The system doesn't even go like that. You can't even pay. How are you going to pay something with debt? Make it make sense. You can't pay taxes. What are you giving them then? Make it make sense. You're paying taxes to something that is in debt itself. Make it make sense. People can't. Plastic bag or something. You know? So yeah, again, people don't know the system they live in. Like I told you, there's three jurisdictions sitting here right now. There's the corporate United States, all right? You got the country, the United States, and then you got the United States of America, which the 98% of people don't live in, right? And then you got U.S. citizens, all right? And then you got, foreign nationals. Then you got nationals, all right? Then you got sovereigns, right? That's it. Simple and plain and simple. They don't want you to know your true power. That's it. They don't want you to have no clue about your true power. Why? Because it puts them out of power. And that's what they're afraid of, unfortunately. So, and that's what I fight for, the country. People are like, oh, you don't fight for the country. You're one of those anti. No, I'm not. I'm anti-U.S. citizen. I'm anti-American. I'm anti what the fuck y'all are. All right? I'm anti-New American, okay? Took me a while, but I figured out where my country is, and that's what I fight for. All right? I told this to somebody, they were like, what? Yeah, I'm fighting for my government. Okay, if that makes any sense, it's not gonna. But what is my government? Well, the government has been laid out that is operating without any mouthpieces behind it. The true government does not have any mouthpieces behind it. That's the secret they don't want you to know. Because the true government is self-governance. Okay? The government that you see is for the people who don't know how to self-govern. Okay? That's it. I mean, this is simple. I'm gonna bust it down. I'm gonna bust it on down. Okay, bust it on down. Give me 1 second. Let me go to my notes. Bust this shit right on down for you. Real quick, simple terms. Exactly. All rights reserved. You're right on point. You already know. All rights reserved. Hold on. Boy, you don't grab that shit. Not when I'm. Hmm? You got another hour and you calm down. Huh? Hold on 1 second. Yeah. All right. Now, this is in the Federalist interpretations and writings, right? Self-governance means that power comes from the people who delegate authority to their elected representatives. It's a government by consent, not imposed from above. The idea is rooted in popular sovereignty. Okay? The Federalist Papers, written by Alexander Hamilton, James Madison, and John Jay, were essays meant to promote ratification of the Constitution and explain its principles, right? Hamilton opens by stating that Americans have a chance to decide whether societies of men are really capable or not of establishing good government from reflection and choice. Federalist number 10, Madison, discusses how a large republic can control factions and preserve liberty, implying a structure where citizens rule through elected officials. See that? What did that say? Citizens rule through elected officials. This is the shit they don't want you to know, and this is the shit that people won't go back and actually look, study, research, adopt, understand, and implement in their own life, and wonder why you look outside, there's fucking smoke everywhere. You look outside, you go to all these regulations and shit, all these overreach down to local governments telling you can't do this, you can't do that, you can't do this. What? Right? Oh, go buy a house, the American dream, buy a house, get an address, become a resident of your city, town, parish, village, and all that. They want you to be a resident, right? Go look up the understanding of what a resident is, okay? No, they don't want you to be a domicile, right? Be domiciled in the state, right? They don't want that. All right. Federalist 39. Madison specifically defines the U.S. as a republican form of government where the government is derived from the great body of the people. How hard is this? This is not hard. You have the power. What are you doing with it? No, you're not going to do ignorant, stupid, dumbass shit that makes no sense to nobody but your own ass beliefs. No, that's not realistic. What we're talking about is real self-governance, understanding that, look, I ain't fucking with nobody. Therefore, I don't want nobody fucking with me. If I fucking hurt somebody or damage somebody's property, I'm responsible for it. That means I did something with an action. It caused a reaction, all right? Whether it's damage or something or some hurt or pain or something I did, now I gotta have a response and be able to fix it and willfully fix it. And people don't know, this government has stripped that shit away from you with jails and all these code statutes, rules, and regulations. If you whoop somebody's ass in another country, you got to pay. There's a reason why people don't beat each other's ass in other countries, okay? Where my wife is from, when I learned and studied the law from where she's from, it blows my mind. And I'm like, man, we are really fucked up over here. We are really under a heavy hand of slavery and think we're actually free, okay? We think this government takes everything from us, okay? And benefits the victims. This shit actually takes from the doer and the victim at the same time, which is pretty sad, okay? You get into a fight, you hurt somebody, or you get into a car accident, you hurt somebody, okay? Boom, you got to pay that person. You got to pay the family, okay? You got to pay all their medical bills. You got to do all that stuff. You don't hear about that much here. Oh yeah, if they sue and all that. No. You damage people, you damage this. Oh, get a charge for disorderly conduct and go to jail, or trespassing, or whatever, property damage and all that. You don't get charged. No. The government does that so they can get the money, right? But if you do that in another country, yeah, you're going to get in trouble with the government, but they're going to make you pay for it, right? They make you pay for it. They hold you to, you got to take care of that. If you don't, then the law comes in and says, look, we're going to throw you in the fucking slammer. You got a right to pay them first. Think about how that system operates. People are more understanding, more caring, more just, more upright, more responsible. Over here, by people doing it this way, that lacks accountability right out the window. Who benefits? They do. They benefit. It's so crazy, man, when you look at laws of like other countries that have no crime. Well, little crime, right? No drugs, no gun violence, no, none of this shit that you see here, there. Go look at their laws. Look at their laws. They're not more harsh. They're more right. They're more equal. They're more like, damn, this is the way it should go. People don't do that, though. People ain't gonna do like, now, go to a whole nother country, study the laws, get deep into their law, like I do here. And then I come back here like, what the fuck? Ain't no family courts in other countries. They ain't trying to be in your business. They ain't got time for that. They ain't being in your business. Beat your kid's ass, man. They do something wrong. We want you to whoop their ass so they don't do shit wrong when they get older. Like, come on, man. This is set up this way, man. They like beat the shit out of your kid. Just don't kill him or hurt him too bad, but beat the shit out of your kid. All right? They want you to do that because they ain't got to worry about them when they get old. They know they learn and they got discipline. Damn, man. It's sad, man. It's sad. People don't realize, man. Like, when I get in these deep conversations with some people, they be like, oh, well, why don't you leave, man? That's all they got to say. And if I had a baseball bat and could just hit a home run with their head, I would do it. Because that is, I know it's dumb beyond every brain cell possible. Just dumb for every reason in the history of dumbness. To fix their brain to stay shit like that. Instead of stopping and looking and say, damn, you know what? That shit makes some damn sense. That is right. Why is that? And it all boils back to people don't understand the system that they live in. All right? They don't understand it. We're in a self-governing system, but you can't govern yourself. Hey, like they say, only a fool would think that he can't is guys. It just refreshed and went off on me. Let me know if y'all can hear me. Okay, thanks. All right, so, you know, what else supports this? The Constitution, right? Which is the preamble, which states, "We, the people of the United States, do ordain and establish this Constitution." What does that say? We, the people, we ordain and establish this Constitution. Doesn't get any more simpler than that, right? Now, this is from a case law, all right? 1793, it's Chisholm versus Georgia, 2 U.S., all right, 419. Strictly states the people, not the states, are sovereign, all right? This is what I was trying to tell that fool Yusuf El, who's now talking about we need to get that term removed from being basically derogatory and put these people in check that are using it as derogatory magically now, right? But then Marbury versus Madison, obviously everybody heard of that case, right? The government of the United States has been emphatically termed a government of laws and not of men. I'm telling you, right? Then Yick Woe versus Hopkins. Sovereignty itself remains with the people, by whom and for whom all government exists and acts. Bond versus the United States, 2011. Federalism secures the freedom of the individual. It allows states to respond. It is split in authority that protects liberty by ensuring that the local decisions are made locally. All right? So, it is what it is, man. But Chisholm versus Georgia tells you the people are sovereign, not the states. You always hear about, the state is sovereign, it's a sovereign entity. Well, who formed the state? The people. Think about it. The people did. So, yeah, this is what people don't understand. You know? This is what the people don't understand. And they don't care to understand, That's why I've just studied this for many, many years, because I actually care. And it actually, it actually helps you out in life, It actually helps you out in life. So, all right, what are the things I got in here that I wanted to chop it up on? Let's see. What other jewels I want to drop, since we're talking about the United States and what you are, and then what they list us as. Okay, when we hold they say residency. Okay, where's your residence at? And you say where you're at. Well, guess what? You place yourself in the area that you're at, and you're under all those, whatever you're at. You're a resident of your area, okay? Masked in the state that you are in the United States. Also, there's another layer to which county you're in, or parish you're in, or Commonwealth. Well, Commonwealth is more like, Commonwealth. So think about all the different levels you got, right? Think about it. People should read their state constitutions, That's a whole nother thing. Hold on. All right. People should also read their state constitutions. I'm gonna pull one out of New York State because that's where I'm domiciled at this point. But I'm still working on the whole where I'm born. The whole Colorado thing. I was born in Colorado, so that's where I'm from. Why the fuck am I over here in New York State? That's why I'm trying to change it. But anyways, Article 2, suffrage, they call it. Every citizen shall be entitled to vote at every election for all officers elected by the people, provided that such citizen is 18 years of age or over and shall have been a resident of this state and of the county, city, or village for 30 days next preceding an election. Resident is used, the court interpreted as to require domicile, meaning more than temporary presence. The term implies intent to remain, not just live there temporarily. Domicile versus residence. Matter of Newcomb, 192 New York, 238, 1908. Domicile means living in a place with the intention of making it fixed and permanent home. Residence simply requires bodily presence as an inhabitant in a given place. Think about that. All right? Now, this is the leading New York case cited in tax, voting, and family law issues. It affirms that domicile equals intent plus physical presence, right? This is where your rights sit in your domicile, not residence, because residence is simply a body present, right? As an inhabitant in any given place, where it means wherever they want to place you as a resident under a jurisdiction, that's where you're going to fall. It's crazy, man. A person may have more than one residence, but only one domicile. All right? Now, one second, guys. Okay. Domicile, it gives you full constitutional rights in your state including voting, equal protection, access to courts, and legal jurisdictions. Residents without intent, right, may give you some privileges, right, like local services, but not full constitutional standing, right, like voting or initiating legal claims, right? Changing domicile is constitutionally protected liberty and cannot be restricted by the government unless it meets strict scrutiny. So think about that. Residents. People need to really look at themselves and look these things up, man. And again, people don't give a shit. People don't care. You know, they just don't care. All right, hold on 1 second. Let me pull some more notes out what I got over here. Okay. All right, let me go back into the United States now since we're talking about this stuff. I got about another 30 minutes or so. All right. So, a lot of people don't know this one either, right? That the first Constitution. Now, this is of the United States, right? There's been articles of Confederation, shit like that. But I'm talking about the Constitution. The Virginia Constitution, all right, is the one that influenced the first, it influenced basically the first Constitution, right? And it actually, had a lot to do with the Declaration of the Independence, the U.S. Constitution, 1787, and the Bill of Rights, 1791, right? Now, it was adopted June 29, 1776, and it was before the Declaration of Independence. Now, a lot of people think that it's the actual true Constitution, and it makes sense that it is, okay, because considering it was, a few weeks apart, all right, makes a lot of sense, right? But it was the first American colony to declare its own sovereignty and set up an independent, independent Republican form of government. And the Virginia Declaration of Rights, June 12, 1776, was drafted by George Mason, right? And it was used later as the template for the Bill of Rights of the United States. And, if you read it, it says in there, all power is vested in and derived from the people. Same thing there. Separation of powers was also in there, right? And they must be distinct. They clearly stated it in that one, that it was a legislative, executive, and judiciary. Now remember, Virginia was the first Republican form of government. These are the principles that it adopted, right? Right to trial by jury, freedom of the press, religious liberty, prohibition of excessive bail and cruel punishment, right? Thomas Jefferson, drafted the Declaration of Independence off of this crap, man. And the Bill of Rights. And the other state constitutions also, right? Now, This is a direct quote from the Declaration of Rights for the Virginia, Constitution. That all men are by nature equally free. This is where the shit comes from with the Constitution. I told you, self-governing. The government is not above you or beneath you. You are not above the government or beneath it. We are all equal. Simple and plain and simple. Just that all men are by nature equally free and independent and have certain inherent rights. They're telling you come with rights from the Creator, among which are the enjoyment of life and liberty, with the means of acquiring and possessing property and pursuing and obtaining happiness and safety. Okay? Same thing as the U.S. Constitution. All right? Same. So, and they say this was the blueprint for self-governing and the self-government. So, I mean, these things are important, man. These are important. Maneuvering through your everyday life. You look, it just is what it is, man. This is the country. This is what it is. This is all done in the age of enlightenment, man. For that brief moment in time, hey, no matter what was going on, these heads came together and made it equal playing field. Was it equal at the time? Hell no, it wasn't equal. It was not equal. But they made it that way. And the thing about it is we have the power to not even have to fight physically to obtain it back. But yet people are just gone, guys. It's gone. People are gone. People don't care. It's boring. This is boring stuff to people, man. So, this is boring. So, now again, these are the forms of government. You have the United States of America. That's the original constitutional republic, right? Then you have the United States as a federal corporation. We already know 28 USC 3002. 15 United States means a federal corporation, an agency, department, commission, board, or other entity or of the United States, or an instrumentally of the United States. So, under this definition, the United States may refer not to the 50 United, but to a federal corporate entity created by Congress and operating out of Washington, D.C. under exclusive federal jurisdiction. This is the de facto government functioning in fact, but possibly outside the lawful limits of the original Constitution. That's what we got. That's what we got, y'all. That is not the government. All right? That's why you got all the shit that you got. And that came from the District of Columbia Organic Act 1871. This act incorporated the municipal government of D.C., effectively creating a corporate entity to govern the capital. Some argue this became a vehicle for a separate corporate United States entity. All right, then you got the Buck Act, 4 USC subsection 105 to 110 allows federal government to enforce jurisdiction over certain activities like taxation within the states under specific conditions, reinforcing the overlap between the corporate and the constitutional structures. 14th Amendment citizenships creates a second class of citizenship, all person born or naturalized in the United States, which has been interpreted to create a form of federal citizenship, U.S. citizen distinct from original state citizenship. All right? Sovereign Americans, natural persons, party to the Constitution. U.S. citizens, federal subjects under statutes presumed to operate under contract. Social security number, tax file, licensing, etc. The difference becomes especially important when asserting jurisdictional defenses or addressing due process in courts. Case laws. Dawes versus Bidwell. Distinguish between the United States as a constitutional union versus a federal territory not fully under the Constitution. Hooven versus Allison Co. V. Avat. 324 U.S. 652, 1945. The term United States may be used in any one of several senses. It may merely the name of a sovereign occupying the position analogous to that of other sovereigns. It may designate the territory over which the sovereignty of the United States extends, or it may be the collective name of the states which are united under the Constitution. Crazy, right? But that's what they don't like you to know. That's what they don't want you to know. So, crazy. So, you have no rights. Plain and simple. That's how they treat you. You know, you go through these court systems, they treat you like you ain't got no rights. And they're going to roll over you. You know, you just got to know how to fight back. So anyways, winding it all down. Shout out to all you guys. Whoever's still out here. You know, whoever's still out here. Let me know if y'all can still hear me. Again, this is boring shit. This ain't your regular, you know, Truther Chronicles of your daily dose of propaganda. But if you studied this shit, you wouldn't even look at the propaganda because you're like, yeah, this shit don't apply to me. You know? Thanks, Dark Kushite. You always be on point with this stuff. So, you know, it's powerful shit, man. When you know this, where you stand and you're standing and it's in you, you know, they can't do this. You know, they can't talk stupid shit, or they can't just send you a letter telling you got to do A, B, C, and D. Man, get your ass far away from me. You know, it don't work like that. You know, the Wizard of Oz wears off quick. I'm dealing with that now, and I can't wait till my shit is over, where I could just, there's gonna be so much from so many years. Like, yo, look at this, you know? So, yeah, man. And you really don't gotta learn that, you know? All you gotta do is learn your basic principles that, you know, you basically, you know, you're a part of the government, you are the government, and you stand on it. Those people you see out there that Truther's been bitching about and me been bitching about for many, many years, they ain't the one. That's not the government. You're the government. The government doesn't need any representatives. The government is already there. It's already established. We just put people in these positions to do certain things that we, the sovereigns, ain't doing. And they completely flipped it, reversed it, don't follow it, don't care. How can the people be against the people? Right? Doesn't make sense. Doesn't even make any sense. So what's going on? How can the people be against the people? That would let you know there's something there that is an adversary, because if you looked at the law, you looked at the constitutions and how it's structured, you'd be like, well, who the fuck are these people? Because they are not going by this, because they're one of us. So for them to separate themselves from us, something is deeply, terribly wrong. It's just straight like that. You know? They come on, oh, we're gonna lock down this and lock down that. You gotta do this, you gotta do that, you gotta wear a mask. What? Man, get your ass out of here. What are you even talking about? Just create power out of thin air. And this is the mentality that most people should have. Like, no, y'all can't do this. This doesn't work like that. Imagine if millions of people understood this. You know? It's crazy, man. They disrespected her like vultures. I am a waitress. I am a witness. Well, whatever. But, yeah, man. It's that bad. You know, you drive down the road, the police pull you over. For what? Think about it. The people pulling the people over. The people that put these people in power are pulling the people over that put them in power and killing them, assaulting them, taxing them, extorting them, terrorizing them. I mean, it doesn't take, too much brain cells to figure out what's going on. But that's how you got to look at it, is how. And then you got to look at, I always go to my little local area, Rochester, New York. How are the police that are security forces for the city? How the hell do they got any power to do any of the shit they're doing? That would mean technically everything that they are doing pretty much is not even lawful. Because if you look at how it's structured, okay, that is a corporation within the state, within the county, that has a security force called the Rochester Police Department, which is in the city of Rochester. And if you look at them all, they're all corporations. But when they pull people over, right, they give them tickets and stuff of that nature, right? Or they got to take them to jail. They got to take them to another police. What is going on there? And that's when I learned about this stuff, What is happening there? What is going on? How is the police taking somebody to another police? Why ain't those police, like would be my case where I'm at, Monroe County Sheriffs, why ain't they out on the road taking them to the jail? Why is who's this other guy? So that mean if I had to make some security, I could just go arrest people and put them on the well, I'm gonna form my own government called the City of Matrix, right? And it's only 2 people living in the city, but you know what? Okay, it's their jurisdiction or it's mine. We're both in the same area. Then you got to look at security laws. And then you look at, well, damn, they are under the same laws as Walmart security. Yeah, start looking at this stuff. Start looking at the case laws on this stuff. It'll blow your top. It'll blow your mind. Truly will blow your mind. And this law is like the new awakening, because you can pretty much research any situation, look at it in the law perspective, and be like, it'll be a whole eye-opener and an awakening to like, oh my God, I didn't even know something as simple as that is defined in the law. Oh my God. is a real awakening to like, whoa, it's empowering. The law has been there to protect us all the time. It's just been hidden, you know? Now with technology, it's easier to find, easier to bring forth, it's easier to see, it's easier to summarize, it's easier to break down, and it's easier to apply it to yourself. You know? So yeah, but I think I'm gonna wrap it up, you know? I'll chop it up again, but I just had some time. Thanks for making the time move a lot faster for me. I always appreciate that. Whoever's still on here or out here, shout out to all y'all. But yeah, it's something, man. Pick up. Want to start somewhere? I wouldn't even say pick up a law dictionary, because you get them at first and it's like, okay, yeah, you look up words. I mean, it works for other people, but for me, that's boring. You know? I would take scenarios and look up case laws. I would take news stories or executive orders and read them. I would look at, you know, cases of famous people or something that just make it interesting. Just start reading through it. You don't know something, researching, and you end up in a whole bunch of different rabbit holes. And you'll actually be learning and understanding. You know? Learn what the United States is, learn what the country truly is, learn where it's at, learn how it's defined, learn if you even in the motherfucker, you know, learn if you're in there, you know, most likely you're not in there, you're not in the country, you're operating outside of the country, therefore you're like an enemy, you know, you're an illegal alien, or an alien resident. Look up the term alien resident. I would go down that whole thing, but I'm going to wind it off. So, shout out to all you guys. You know, much love to y'all, and you know, I'll holler at y'all later.
So, you hear me speak, and the things I say, I'm speaking to my people.
If you ask me, I'll tell you what is wrong with the world. We're being desensitized from the things we should feel. Living our lives in these times while we suffer inside, and we can't see the problems because the masses are blind. Let's try and find a solution. We're not helping ourselves. We're walking around unattached and disconnected from self. Too comfortable and too scared. That's why we never rebel. That's why we catch me writing rhymes. I'm trying to balance the scales. Put car on the roads. It seems like dawn of the dead. Zombies, robots, lemons being misled. It's like we're sheep to the slaughterhouse on the conveyor belt, about to self-destruct, cause we're under a spell. We search for purpose, but nothing ever surfaces. We need to be accountable, cause we're deserving this. Alarm bells are ringing, but it's like you refuse to wake up. Subconsciously you're hitting on the snooze. It's just another day in this world, while we're living under the spell. When you travel through realms, just make sure you prevail. Elevate for yourself. You need to stop sleepwalking. We're blinded by the rubbish and glamorized materials. Imperialism has got us fearing rules. I'm tired of these rappers rapping about their cars and jewels. If you take a step back, they will define buffoons. The saddest thing is that they're in the minds of all the children. They keep our money motivated and that's how they kill them. But do we care? No. Young money's here. That's why I aim this 2 inches above your earlobe, so we can all start pulling in the same direction. Cause it seems to me like we've lost that connection. Man, you've sold your soul, so you show no affection. Get to know yourself and love your reflection. It's like your brain's a phone and you got no reception. Arm your mind with knowledge, use it as a weapon. Alarm bells are ringing, but it's like you refuse to wake up. Subconsciously you're hitting on the snooze. It's just another day in this world, while we're living under the spell. When you
have to have some self-account. You have to say for yourself, what am I going to do that's right for me, man? When am I going to take ownership for what I do to me and my people?